personally for you coming and sharing your musical gifts with us. It's always such a treat. What also is a treat is the thing that plants me on my feet for the week and sets the tone of my week, which is the words and the insight shared by our Reverend Jill Brocklehurst. So welcome her.
Okay, I'm not sitting. That just doesn't work for me. When I was with my granddaughter, I've warned my son, she's a little bit like me, and they were trying to make her hike in single file. I was like, really? She's 5 years old. So, and they also wanted to keep her in eyesight, so I took off the trail with her. I said, she's in my sight. You're fine. Leave her alone. Let's run. And off we went. And they kept like, Mirabelle, Mirabelle. Anyway, yeah, so I can't sit. And neither can Mirabelle. I wanted to, when Colette was talking about the building, one of the things that popped into my mind was Willow Point Hall. And you know, yeah, we do hear the traffic a little bit here, right? Like we can hear it. And what Colette and I noticed, because she teaches yoga here as well and meditation during the week, when we first start into it, it's funny, you notice all the cars going by, but all of a sudden that disappears. And it's so interesting how I don't even know it's there. And I was remembering Willow Point Hall, those of you who didn't go there, but I'm sure many of you would remember. Remember when the motorbikes went by Willow Point Hall? Yeah. It's a little bit different experience here. And then the other thing I remember about Willow Point Hall is, remember the heat? How it was either too hot or too cold all the time? And the heat would come on. We'd have to turn it off during service because it was so loud. Anyway, it was an interesting time. Also, what I wanted to do is last month we were casting for people who came often to the center and went into a draw to win a prize. And I see that, wow, is any of the winners here? None of the winners are here. What are we going to do about that?
We only bribed them for September.
I know, right? And you know, it's interesting because I had my little draw basket of things to pull and all the other names, and I didn't bring it because I was going to bring it, and well, because I was going to say if they're not here, they don't get to win. So what do you guys think I should do with it? Should we give it to the people that aren't here? Should we give it to the people that are here? I think so, right? Okay, I'll tell you what. How about if your birthday is in June? Stand up. There's a few, okay? And if your I'm going to give you, this is going to be the prize here. And if your birthday, it's in June and you have double digits, stay standing. Yeah, like June 1st to 9th wouldn't count. Okay. It is? No, it's not your prize. So, I was going to call you Opal. Colette wins life coaching with Blake. Yay! Oh, and you're going to see who was supposed to win, but that's okay. Okay, now the next prize is in my hand. If your birthday is in October, stand up. And and Maverick doesn't get to play. And if your birthday is in the 20s, stay standing. That's you? Okay. Kay wins face painting party. And that's brought to you by Emily, so you can talk to Emily about that. Okay, the next prize, if your birthday is in... if you were born in the 40s, stand up. Ooh, there's a few. Whoa. Okay. Wow. Let's give them a round of applause. Okay, if you were born in the 40s and your month of your birthday is a double digit, stay standing. Okay.
It's like October.
Yeah. And if you're born in so were you October? November or December? Okay. If you were born in the winter, stay standing. Okay, winter babies. Oh, that would be December, January. Oh no, that would be January and February and March, part of March. I guess. What? Oh, you're December? Oh, but you're double digits.
Double digits.
Okay.
Double digits and winter and luck of December.
Anybody born in January?
Just saying.
In the 40s? Anybody? You're January? Yeah. February. Grace is the winner. Oh, is it? You're February too?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, pick a number between 1 and 10.
I was going to say 5, 6.
You said 6?
Yeah.
Sorry, she wins. You get it. Arms meditation.
Oh, cool.
Massage, I mean. Yeah, not meditation. Okay, last but not least, if your last name begins with a W, stand up. 2, okay. And, oh boy, I know too much about you guys. Now, how am I going to... Okay, number between 1 and 20, go.
19.
10. Which is closer? I said 16, so 19's closer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You win bowling. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Oh, my goodness. That's so funny. Okay. There are things we learn in books, and there are things that people tell us. And then there's something that you just know. And without any evidence, any sort of tangible source, you just know it. And there's an infinite presence is what I know, and that this presence is that just knowing. It's that idea that is within me that can't be shaken by anything because I just know it. So I have a little exercise for you all to do. What I want you to do is to think about a problem that you're experiencing right now. So just close your eyes and think about that problem. And I want you to look down. I want you to look downward while you think about that problem. And describe and rate your feeling of vitality between 1 and 10 while you're looking down and thinking about that problem. And also rate the hope that to experience freedom with that problem between 1 and 10. So do you have a feeling with that? You're looking down, experiencing, thinking about your problem. Rate the vitality, feeling of vitality while you think about the problem, and your hope while you think about the problem between 1 and 10. Okay, it's pretty simple. So now I want you to face straight ahead. Look out straight ahead. You can open your eyes, close your eyes, whatever feels comfortable. And still being with the same problem, thinking of the same problem, describe that feeling of, or rate that feeling of vitality and that feeling of hope again between 1 and 10 while you look straight ahead. Okay, now look up. Look way up. Look up to the highest vision. And now, I invite you to rate that feeling of vitality and feeling and freedom between 1 and 10. Okay. Feel a difference? Notice a difference? When we look up, we're intentional to catch the universal wisdom. We're becoming that God idea, that spiritual idea all the time. And when we look up, we're looking for solutions. We're often tempted, though, to look at the problem, down or straight ahead, and rather looking up for the solution. Do you know what I mean? We tend to zoom into the problem and it magnifies. You know, we take the problem and we go like this. And maybe if I look a little closer, I can solve my problem. But the challenge is when we're looking the problem straight in the face, we can't see anything else. But when we look up, we raise our consciousness immediately by the very act of gazing our eyes upward. When I lift my eyes, I lift my thoughts to truth, capital T truth. and I give it up. I turn it over to a bigger idea. This is how we can keep our eye on omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence. It's by lifting up that mountaintop vision, holding the highest idea, not on the effects of the world. That's looking straight ahead. That's looking down. Focusing on those effects, staring into the problem. The invitation is to look up. Always look up. Our beloved friend Roger was looking up when he kicked me in the royal butt and said, "Jill, the purchase of this building is yours to do." Instead, he caught me looking straight ahead and he caught me looking down, going, "Oh boy, I'm not sure I want to take on this journey." And he said, nope. He looked up and he said, "This is ours to do. Not tomorrow, not a week from now, not a year from now. It is ours to do." And he was the one who drove us forward into getting this building, this space. He was looking up. And he knew how to look up. He knew how to have that higher thought. He didn't look at the obstacles until after we bought it and he stepped in here and went, "Oh boy." But even then, he was looking up. And what it's like, if you can't imagine what that's like, think about when you're driving a car. What happens when we look at something on the side of the road? Notice? Or when we text and drive? Or when we do anything, try to read a map and drive? When we're not looking at the road itself, I don't know about you, but my tendency is to veer off and not stay between those darn lines. So it's the same with golf or tennis. I was playing tennis with my son when he was here last week, and he says, "I'm really having trouble with my forehand." And I said, "You just have to point to where you want that ball to go before you swing into the ball." And as he practiced that, he was nailing it exactly where he wanted. Like golf. Same thing. Or like riding a bike. I'm sure if you ask Jamie when he's on those trails in the woods, that he doesn't look at the trees. If he did, he'd be right in front of one, smashing into it. Instead, he looks at where he wants to go. Same with skiing. So, are you looking where you want to go? Or are you looking at the problem? Roger told me to look where I wanted to go and not to engage at the level of the problem. Because when we do that, we empower the problem. Whenever we treat anything violent directly, we empower the violence. God is love and is the antidote to each and everything we encounter. Period. So when we keep our mind stayed on the good, when we praise and describe the good, we empower the good. Each and every time. Where does our attention lie? This is the depths of our mind, and this is what our mind and our thoughts can do for us. By expanding what we know to be true and holding our vision up. Sometimes I get caught in the minutiae of life and I drop down into it and I forget to look up. To look up to all these people in the room that are here with us today. And all those people that are watching on Periscope, they keep telling me. Charlene's probably there. Hi, Charlene. I know Eric buzzes in too. All those people, we look up to the people that are here and present and making the center this glorious place that it is. Roger was always holding that higher vision of this building. And he put his heart and soul into it, into the vision that he had. If you hadn't seen this room before, it had dartboards around it, and it was an ugly color of blue and gray, I think, and the floors were dirty, and it was just a mess. There was lots to be done. And he took down all the tiles, and they cleaned all those little metal parts, and they took them down and they washed them. And he's not the only person that did that, okay? There are other people in this room who joined him in that effort. But I just wanted to point out how he was the one who initiated the vision of the building, and he didn't just sit on the couch and say, okay, now let it happen. He got out there and he was part of making it happen. And so with him, others joined in. They caught the energy of that. Others joined into his excitement, to his raising up of a bigger idea, and they wanted to be a part of it too. And before we knew it, we had a crew of people who were as inspired as he was, and they were here fixing the building, changing it, making it new. And for those who didn't want to participate in that way, they showed up with the finances that we might buy the building outright. Well, we haven't bought it outright, but that we got a mortgage of our own. And then they helped us, others with money helped us so that we could then not only afford the mortgage, but get approved for the mortgage and then have a smaller mortgage loan off to the side. Other people showed up with the money. And there was tons of people who came together to make this happen because it started with one person who kicked my butt, who was looking up to a bigger idea. It wouldn't have happened had he not looked up. Do you understand? Do you understand what happens in our own lives when we look up to a bigger idea than the minutiae of what's going on in the present moment? That there is an infinite presence and it's always working itself through our lives. Always. But it can't help us when we won't look up to it. When we won't take our problem and hand it over to it. If our thoughts that we are having are not becoming things, it's because we're just moving our thoughts around. Okay, I want you to know what I mean by that. Because I know that in this teaching we always talk about, have a thought and create that in your reality. And then often what happens is people come back and they say, well, I had a thought and it's not working. Well, that's because we're just moving the thoughts around. We're either facing forward or we're looking down and we're playing with the same old thoughts that we've always been playing with. And so instead of getting new thoughts, we're often looking for excuses of why we're not free. So look up. Be consistent. Be committed to change and speak about the experience of freedom. If you don't like your thoughts, stop looking where you're looking. Look up. And follow through when you get a download. When you're looking up and Spirit says, go this way, and you're like, are you kidding me? Follow it. Because behind that is an infinite intelligence that sent the message through your intuition, through your heart, through your soul. There's only one mind. The mind of the infinite intelligence. And we all share this mind. Our intuition is Spirit knowing itself through each and every one of us. Ernest Holmes says, it's impossible to plumb the depths of the individual mind. The individual mind is really not individual, it's individualized. Meaning that there is this infinite intelligence and each one of us has a personal way of experiencing it. But that infinite intelligence is endless. And he goes on to say, behind the individual is the universe. So the part that we play with is the piece that we play with, that we choose. But the universe has no limits, he says. In this concept alone lies the possibility of eternal and endless expansion. Everyone is universal on the subjective side of life. Everyone. The individual, and we're individual only at the point of conscious perception. We're individual as we choose to play with that infinite intelligence. So the riddle is solved, he says. We all use the creative power of the universal mind every time we use our own mind. The reason that we can understand each other in the first place, it's not, we don't need to speak the same language, we don't even need to be able to see or hear, but it's because there's something intangible that we all share. We feel love. We all share that. We can see videos of people around the world and they're all enjoying the same song and joy. Because it's a universal feeling that we all share. It shows up as love, as joy, as freedom, harmony. Even when great tragedies happen in the world, like 9/11 or the tsunami in Indonesia, we know that we're connected somehow, don't we? Isn't it interesting how we all rise up together? Something that shakes the world deeply, affects us on an individual level. It's as though we are moving through a shared evolution together, a shared transformation. There are certain moments where it is clear that there is only one of us here. That infinite presence, that divine essence within each one of us. Only one is here. It's that dimension of ourselves that connects us with the source, that spirit within, the kingdom of heaven within. Look up. So this is what I know, that the infinite intelligence had a thought, and you were created in perfection. Grab that. The infinite intelligence doesn't make mistakes. It can't do wrong. It doesn't make a mess. It had a thought, and you were created infinitely perfect at the very root of who you are. And nothing ever can take that away from you or anybody else. It cannot be destroyed. So bless your connection to the infinite I am, and see the connection you have with all life. Look up. I want to conclude today with a musical prayer I found on the internet. So if you will turn around and watch with me. It's just warming up, sorry. There we go. Sorry. Oh, there we go.
This song says, no matter who you are, no matter where you go in your life, at some point you're going to need somebody to stand by you. Oh yeah, oh my darling, stand by me. No matter who you are, no matter where you go in life, you gon' need somebody to stand by you. No matter how much money you got, all the friends you got, you gon' need somebody to stand by you. When the night has come and the land is dark and that moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't. She won't get just as long as the people come and stand by me. And darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Come on, stand by me. Yeah. Oh, when the sky that we look upon, when she tumbles and falls, you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I love you. I bless you, and we're all one. Thank you.
So now is our time for financial contribution.